Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be working on 4 more pages in my Create This Book 1 and Create This Book 2. So here are the 4 pages that I'm going to be working on today. And as a reminder, this book was created by Mariah Elizabeth, a YouTuber here on YouTube. The first page I'm going to be working on today is the Create a Page of Garbage. So for this, my original idea was just to glue in pieces of trash from my trash can, but I decided that wouldn't make for a really interesting video. So instead, I decided to start off by painting a used paper towel filled with paint with my watercolor. Paper towels filled with paint is probably one of the most common things to find in my trash can. And so I thought it would work best to put on this page in some way, but instead of just gluing on an old and used paper towel, I decided it would be better to just paint it in some way. And although I'm still not the best at using watercolor, this time around while using it, I did learn a lot more with how to work with it. And I do think I'm slightly improving in my technique when using watercolor. And so once that was dry and ready, I just glued it into the left side of the page. Then I decided to trace out my popsicle stick and to draw out some popsicle sticks filled with paint. I use popsicle sticks every time I paint to mix in my custom colors. Since for the most part I don't use paint straight from the bottle unless it's white, I like to mix my colors. I use a lot of popsicle sticks, and they're probably the second most common thing in my trash can. And so first I'm just sketching out the design in pencil, and then I'm going over it with a fine liner. Using fine liners are probably one of my favorite techniques when drawing. I think it takes a lot of stress behind drawing because you can just sketch it out with pencil and you don't have to commit to anything until you go to the fine lining. And so now I'm just using regular color pencils to color in the popsicle sticks and the paint. But then at this point I had decided that I wasn't liking the plain white background, so instead I changed it to a darker gray just to look like a trash bag. And so once I was finished coloring in the popsicle sticks, I used my white gel pens to put in some highlights to the paint. Now, putting highlights in things are probably my favorite. I really like just how it makes everything look put together and makes everything look very complete. And again, following with my rules for this book, I did put the date and sign it at the bottom. And I put a coat of Mod Podge over all of the pencil marks just so that they won't move and bleed onto any other pages. And this is how the final page turned out. I'm not completely satisfied with this page. I think the paper towel filled with paint could have came across a little bit better. But I am really happy with how these popsicle sticks filled with paint came out. And overall, I did really like the process of going through this page. And for this next page, it's the Create a Pet page. And if you remember in my last painting video, I showed you this clock that I painted and this little guy. Well, his name is Num Num, which I first drew him in school for a Spanish project, and then I made a short story out of him. And he's actually a character that me and my twin brother created while we were growing up. And so I thought he would be perfect for this page, as in a way he was a pet for me and my brother growing up. This is just a quick look into the story that I drew of him. Maybe one day I'll make a full story and share it on YouTube. But I decided that I was going to be drawing Num Num for this page as my pet. And Num Num is actually not a single pet, but he's actually a combination of all the pets. Me and Julio, my twin brother, created him to be a mixture of everything cute and fluffy. And so he's kind of a mixture of all pets. And as you can see here now, I already did draw out and sketch my design for Num Num, and I did add a little bio about him to the side. So Num Num has the appearance on the front side as a blue cat, but he also has white magical wings that appear and disappear as needed. And he actually has a little bunny tail behind. And Num Num also does not need to eat or sleep. He is a magical creature who doesn't rely on any of our human needs. Num Num is a creature that's made out of love and stuffing. So he's kind of like a teddy bear, but he's also able to speak English, Spanish, and his language, which is Num Numese. And so the reason for his name being Num Num is because those were his first words. I painted Num Num's wings in white acrylic paint, but then drew the rest and colored it in pencil. And then I just decided to do a blue background in watercolor. which using the blue was probably a mistake since most of Num Num was blue already. I have to say, this is probably one of my favorite pages in this book. I have really been wanting to do more with Num Num and this character that me and my brother created. I'm hoping to one day make a squishy out of him, but I have to find the right base for it first. And he is probably going to be a reoccurring character on my channel, as you can see how I painted him in my clock last week. And once everything was dry, I coated the pencil marks in Mod Podge again. And here is how the finished page looks. And that's it for Create This Book 1. Now let's move into the 2 pages for Create This Book 2. So for Create This Book 2, I'm actually not as excited for these pages as I was for Create This Book 1. So starting with the Create a Comparison page, we're supposed to use colors we love on one side and then use colors we dislike on the other. So for me, this was really hard making a drawing with just colors I don't like, and because there's technically not a color that I dislike, I think any color can be nice if it's used correctly, but I decided to draw and sketch out a rainbow and colored it in with the different types of colors that I either liked or disliked. And for the dislike page, I really don't like colors that are very muted or very dark. I prefer pastel and lighter colors. I prefer more whites than to darker tones. I'm also not too big of a fan of neon colors. If it's too bright or bold or too dark, I just don't really like it as much. I prefer a softer and pastel color. And to help show the difference, I used alcohol markers to do the dislike page, and I used colored pencils to do the love page. And I have to say that this is probably my least favorite page, all 4 that I did. I just didn't really like how it turned out as much as the other ones, especially with the colors that I had to use on the dislike page. And at the last minute, I decided to just paint a blue background over the 2 pages with watercolor again. Moving on to the next page, it says create a merge. And so basically, it asks you to choose 2 animals and merge them together. I was very excited for this page, and I honestly thought of doing Num Num again because he's a merge of all animals, but I decided that I didn't want to be too repetitive, and so instead I drew firstly a turtle and bunny mixture, and then a cat and a dolphin mixture. And so I sketched them out, and now I'm just filling in the color with color pencil. The first merge of a turtle and a bunny were ideas that came to me looking at my own pets and thinking of how I would combine both of them. And so I just went with the body of a turtle and the head of a turtle, but I gave it the ears, the feet, and the tail of a bunny. And then for the cat and the dolphin, I kind of just went half and half. And so I gave it the upper half body of a cat and the lower body or the tail of a dolphin. And again, I'm going to be using the watercolor paint for the background. I tend to really only use watercolor to paint in backgrounds. And I don't have any clever names for these animal merges. And in a way, both of these merges are similar, since a turtle and a dolphin are both water creatures, and then a cat and a bunny are both land animals. I was really excited to do this page because there are many possibilities that you can do. There's so many different animal creations you can make. And it was kind of hard for me to just stick with the two. I didn't want to fill up the page too much. And once all of the watercolor was dry, I did coat it with some Mod Podge on the drawing parts. And this is how the page turned out. And that's going to be the final page for today. These are the fur pages that I did for my Create This Book 1 and Create This Book 2. I really hope you enjoyed them and you liked the pages. I had lots of fun working on them and doing this video. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and God bless you.